CBS News senior national security analyst Fran Townsend is here. She was Homeland Security and Counterterrorism Advisor to President George W. Bush. We are also joined by CBS News law enforcement analyst Paul Viollis, who's had a long career in law enforcement and security. Paul and Fran, welcome back to both of you. And unfortunately, Paul, as we heard from the Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo, visibly shaken when he delivered the latest news, he is stealing everyone for worse news to come.
All right, unfortunately, kudos to Las Vegas PD and in their containment and the expeditious manner in which they've responded to this. But when the sheriff's speaking about that, it's safe to say for him to come out and say that there's 50 and the amount of injured, unfortunately, that number is probably going to go up.
This is now being called the deadliest mass shooting in American history. What will they now be looking for, Paul? Perimeter.
They're going to have to. They're establishing an inner perimeter and an outer perimeter for where the concert was. There's two crime scene scale. And then you also have the crime scene where the shooter was on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. They're going to have to look at, and they're going to use the casings that were dropped, and they're going to see the weapons that he used, and hopefully they're going to find more physical evidence in that particular location that's going to give them a further information as to what their next steps are and who they need to interview.
Let's talk about that, Fran. He's on the 32nd floor. I mean, this seems to be something we haven't seen before in this country. We had talked to an eyewitness that said your bags were checked as you went into the arena. It was an outdoor festival. But somebody on the 32nd floor that just sprays and was there for a long period of time.
That's right. Look, we've heard from eyewitness reports that the shooting went on anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes. That sounds like an incredibly long period of time if you're in that plaza, right, and you're hearing the shots. But the fact that the Las Vegas Police Department and SWAT team could identify the source of the fire, get up to that room, breach that room, and take out the shooter in that period of time is really incredible. It's a credit to them. The Las Vegas Sheriff's Office works very closely with the hotels in Las Vegas. The chief security officers meet on a regular basis. They perform exercises with the local sheriff's department, and all those things were to the benefit in resolving this. And as horrific as the numbers are, and I agree with Paul, they're likely to rise, it would have been much worse if the Las Vegas law enforcement had not responded as quickly.
And you're giving a lot of credit to them, who knew exactly what to do, because you said they train in this.
That's right, and they practice just these sorts of scenarios so that they know. They've looked at the blueprints of the hotels, and they've worked through so they know exactly what they're doing when they enter that room to take this guy out.
And Fran, the White House Chief of Staff John Kelly was the one who alerted the president of the shooting. The president tweeting, "My warmest condolences and sympathies to the victims and families of the terrible Las Vegas shooting. God bless you." No word yet on whether this will officially turn into a federal investigation, but do you expect that to happen?
Certainly that the feds will support it, right? So things like the ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, is essential to understanding the history of each of the weapons. We know that it was an automatic weapon that the shooter used. We also know from the Clark County Sheriff that they found other weapons in the room. You're going to want to know the entire history of those weapons. When did he purchase them? From where? And that will be an important piece. And so the feds will help that. It depends on, we know that there's a search warrant at his Mesquite retirement home, the shooters. They will go through all of his electronics. They will go through physical evidence. They will try to understand what the motive is. We don't know that yet, but many of the clues to that will exist in the physical evidence, as well as an interview of the wife or companion that they now have identified and spoken to.
This is the woman, Mary Lou Danley, who is his wife, Stephen Paddock's wife, who they were looking for all morning long. They sent out, Las Vegas police tweeted out a picture of her, saying they wanted to speak with her. We do not know where she is now or what condition she is in, but we do know that police have said they have located her, which is the primary person they were trying to reach after this shooting happened, to figure out what happened.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear the circumstances of how she was in custody. Fran Townsend and Paul Viollis, you'll be with us all morning, so of course we'll get back to you in just a second.